Onegaishimasu. All right, please stand up. Soften the knees, bounce on the ankles, shake your hands down. Empty the shoulders. Shake your legs out. Okay, separate your feet a little bit further than hips distance. Just start to sink into the ground, lift and spread your toes. Pressing the inside edge of your foot down. Flare out your fourth and fifth toes as far out to the side as you can. And as you start to shift your weight, you're aiming for ear over shoulder over hip, taking knee towards toes, knee towards toes. Take a big deep breath in from the bottom of your feet up through your knees. Hug your belly to your spine, shift your shoulders back. Start to just let your arms move because the rest of your body's moving. Turning out from your right hip, shift your weight forward so you have eyes, front knee, front toes in the same direction. Taking knee towards toes, knee towards toes. Check in with your shoulders and just allow them to move because the rest of your body's moving. Turn the right foot in parallel, turn out to the left. Then start to flow from one side to the other. Shift your weight forward and back, knee towards toes, knee towards toes. Good, bring your feet parallel. Raise your arms up. Start to shift your shoulders and arms, fingertips facing each other in some big circles. And bend your knees while you're doing this. You're transferring weight from one side to the other as you move. Switch directions. Fold forward and make some big circles. Bring it all the way up. Draw a big outline of a circle all the way down. Get to the top, switch directions. Good, this time, make one circle across the top, move across your center, and then trace the opposite direction across the bottom like a big figure eight. Drawing all of that breath from the connection underneath your feet, bring it all the way up. Expand as your hands go across the top. Okay, stop your center. Bring your arms right out in front of your belt. Big inhale. Arms out to the side. Expand your chest. Lift up on your heels just for a second. Come back down. Big exhale. Bring it all in. Inhale out. Up on your heels for a second. Bring it all the way up your center, out to the sides. Flip your hands over. Press down, big exhale out. Shift all the way up. Big exhale out. Flip your hands over. Separate your knees and let your feet go out to a 45. So whenever you bend your knees, you're taking knee towards toes. Bring your elbows to the insides of your knees. Place your hands down, turn your heels out, away from your midline, press your hips back, head down. Turn your heels back in towards your midline, come back to squat with your elbows on the insides of your knees. Good, place your hands down, take your heels out, away from your midline, press your hips back one more time. Okay, turn your heels in from here. One more time all the way down. And then shift your weight towards one leg, extend your foot, and lift your toes up towards the ceiling. There you go. Walk your hands across, flip, switch sides. Walk your hands across, switch sides. And switch sides. Good, drop all the way down, bring your feet out in front. Raise arms up, big reach towards the feet. Good, separate your legs, toes up towards the ceiling, place your hands on the top of your thighs, make some big circles with your shoulders. Switch directions. Switch directions. Good. Drop that knife blade edge of your hand down right in front of your hips. Slowly start to push your hands away from you as you shift your weight forward. Inhale, lift arms up. Squeeze shoulder blades together on your back. Exhale, hands out to the side. Inhale, reach arms forward and up. Elbows out to the side, shoulder blades on your back. Exhale, hands out to the side. One more, inhale, scoop arms up. Elbows out to the side, bring it all down. Exhale, hands out to the side. Okay, this is your fast inhale in through your nose and out through your nose. As you lift up in the center, turn towards one leg and let your arms lower down. This does not have to be super fast, but it's just the rhythm of breathing in as you raise up. Exhale as you lower down. Ready? Inhale up, lower down. Good, reach all the way up in the center, reaching out, up and over, take nose towards the knee. Walk your hands back up the sides of your leg to sit back up. Turn towards the other side. Ready, go. Reaching up in the center, turn towards the other leg, reach out, up and over towards the foot, nose towards knee. Good, walk your hands up the side of your leg. From here, Arms out to the side, rotate and take opposite hand to the top of the other leg. Reach the other hand straight up, look at it, and then lean back. Inhale, come back to center, switch sides. Inhale, come back to center. From here, bring your feet together. Drag one heel up closer to your hip. Lift it up with your hand. You're going to push your knee underneath your arm, kick it out. Underneath your arm, kick it out. Underneath your arm, kick it out. Good. Bring it in front of you and just try to hug it into your chest just a little bit. Good. Lower the ankle down to the leg behind the knee. Make some big circles with your ankles. Switch directions. Fold your toes back and forth. Okay, use your thumbs and dig into the back of your calf, going up and down the back of that belly. Okay, take your knuckles to the bottom of your foot and just iron up and down the arch. Drum hands. Use both hands to lift it up, shake it out. And then let it go back to where it started. Drag the other heel up, lift it up. Under the arm, kick it out. Under the arm, kick it out. Under the arm, kick it out. Fold it in front of your chest, hug it in. Good, lower down. Make some big circles with your ankles. Switching directions. Fold the toes forward and back. Okay, take your thumbs to the back of your calf. Okay, back to your ankle. And then iron out the arch of your foot with your knuckles. Use your drum hand. Okay, pick it up with both hands, shake it out. Good, drop it back to where it started. From here, place your hands behind your hips, bend your knees, drag your heels closer to your hips. From here, lift your hips up, kick one leg up and cross it over the opposite knee. And then slowly rock from side to side. Lowering one knee to the ground at a time. Good, lift up, kick that leg up, drop it down, switch sides. Good. Stop through center, lift your hips up, kick that leg up, drop it down. Right from here, fold your feet, come up to hands and knees. From here, slowly lift your knees up and start to pedal out one heel down at a time. Good, now start to roll both ankles to one side, press hips back and head down. Switch sides. And just roll from side to side. Good, stop through center, look forward, shift forward, lower down, taking elbows towards toes. Inhale up. Up to hands and knees, lift your knees up first, drop head down, hips back. Shift your weight forward, look forward, lower down, elbows towards toes. Inhale up. Push one hip forward at a time. Good, come up to hands and knees, lift your knees up, and slowly bring one knee into your chest, drop it down crossed in front of you. From here, walk your hands out, lower your weight down for a second, stretch your arms forward. Then walk your hands to the outside of that bent knee. Press your hands and hips away from each other and lower your head down. Walk your hands back through center and out to the other side. Press hips and hands away from each other. And walk back to center, and then walk your hands back to frame that front bent knee. Lower your chest down, lift your chest and your knee up, kick that leg out behind you, bend at the knee, look out underneath your shoulder. And drop that leg down. Good. Ready? Inhale, shift forward, bring the other leg forward, drop it down, crossed in front of you. Lower the chest down, walk your hands out in front. Okay, walk your hands all the way to the side of the bent knee, lower down, press your hands and hips away from each other. And walk back through center, go out to the other side, press hands and hips away from each other. Walk back through center and then walk your hands to frame that front knee, lower your chest down, lift everything up, kick that leg back behind you, bend at the knee, look out underneath your arm. And lower that side down. Okay, from here, walk your hands or walk your feet closer to your hands, keep your knees bent, and slowly start to take one knee towards each elbow. Okay, from here, hug your belly to your spine, start to go towards a straight leg and slowly start to roll up from your low back, releasing your arms and your head. Come all the way through center, roll your thumbs out to the side. And exhale, bend your knees, lower down. Inhale, hips up towards a straight leg, hug your belly to your spine, roll up. Through center, roll your thumbs out to the side. Exhale, bend your knees and start to lower down. One more time, inhale up. Stay standing. From here, shake your arms down. Okay, standing in Han knee. Ready? Your arms are going to move in front of your hip points right here. As you shift your weight forward, arms go out. And there's a sound that we make when you let a lot of energy out called a ki. And this doesn't have to be super loud. It can even just be, if you don't feel like being loud, it can be a big exhale, inhale, back and forth. But it would be, on the first side, would be, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. So you're actually squeezing your stomach muscles as you're letting that energy out. Ready? So, hey, ho, 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 hey, ho. And then stop, bring your feet together, raise your arms up, put left hand over right, bring it down to your center and shake it all down. Other side, on the out, it's hey, and on the back, suck. Ready, go. Hey, suck, 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 hey, suck. Stop, bring your feet closer together. Bring your arms all the way up, left over right, shake it all down. All right, from here, lower all the way back down. I'm gonna bring you closer. Come all the way down, feet together, knees out to the side this time. So as you start to rock onto one hip, allow the entire bottom of your leg to touch down and put your shoulder on top of the knee. Relax behind your neck. Rock through center, other side. Come through center, other side. Other side. Other side. Good, come all the way back up to center. Release your hands from your feet. And as you start to rock onto one side, take a ton of drop down right behind your hip. As the leg approaches the ground, draw a line right next to it. Reach that arm all the way out. When your rib cage gets close to the top of your leg, then you can rock onto your back, arms, legs, and head off the ground. Fold arms and knees and come right back up to where you started. So before you go all the way across to the other side, just try to go slowly, rock down, just expand and take up tons of space here, and then get round and go back to where you started. Okay, drop in. Breathing out when your back is touching the ground the whole time. Inhale, come back up. There you go. Switch sides. Okay, as you rock down, reach that arm away, approach the ground, head, legs, and arms all off the ground. Get round, come back up. Good. Rock all the way in, arms, legs, head off the ground, expand, take up tons of space, pop back up. Good, this time, move to where you have enough room to travel to make it through both sides of this. You got it. Good. All right. Rock all the way in, expand, then close your legs and come back up, right? So the real practice of this, if you think about it on a practical level, when we're using this type of ukemi working with a partner, we're not really, it's not a great idea to just stay extended and open like this, right? We need to be moving across the ground, but keep ourselves safe at the same time. So even if your legs separate, you want to think about bending your knees, getting your feet closer together so that you can come back up on the other side. So the respectful way of thinking, how we're doing it super slow like this, you're creating the muscle memory that'll be there automatically whenever it ends up having speed added to it later. Okay, so I just want you to keep that in mind. So as you're traveling across, you might open, but then you're going to get round and bring your feet back together pretty quickly. Okay, so even if you're going slow, the dynamic is still kind of an open and close with the feet. All the way across, get that other leg towards the ground and give it the responsibility to get you back up. That's it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. Good. All the way across, back up. Very nice. Sliding all the way down. Get the back on the ground first. Get the knee underneath you to use the leg to be able to get you back up on the other side. All the way out and back up. Nice. Okay, be mindful of your space, furniture, pets, family members, whatever the case is. See if you can make 2 in a row this time. All the way across, keep going, all the way across, pop back up. So good. All right, switch directions, do the other side. All right, so from here, that was the ukemi that went sideways. This time, we're gonna rock straight back. And for the first part of this, I'm gonna take the pressure from one side of the hip across the shoulders and to the other side of the hip, and then back and forth. And that happens from rocking back with the spine rounded, head tucked forward, rock back, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up. So you're making kind of a big half moon shape across one hip, through the shoulders, and down to the other side. So rock back, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up. So you're really letting your hips kind of turn like this while your feet are in the air, right? You're switching which one is going to be taking the weight as you come back up. So drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up. Drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up. And even once you get here, see if you can lean towards the knee that's down to really practice getting the other hip completely off the ground. So rock back, kick out 2, tuck 1, lean towards the other leg. There you go. Yep. Now, keeping the toes active on the leg that is bent underneath you, it's going to help you get that lift to come up to one knee. Drop down, kick out 2. Active toes, come all the way up to one knee. Drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, up to one knee. Good. Good. So the next piece of this, I want you to think as you're raising up from here. I want you to feel like there's a push forward on the front of you, like this drawing you forward towards something. And that's going to happen by keeping this hug your belly to your spine cue without letting your back kind of push forward and bend like this. You want to keep your ears over shoulders over hips. So as you use the momentum to help you come forward, you're taking your vision and your intention going forward, keeping your spine straight so that you can go up to standing. I'm gonna raise my level there, okay? So as you rock back, kick out 2, look forward and push forward as you stand up. Rock back, kick out 2, look forward and take your energy forward as you come up, okay? Ready, rock back, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up, push forward and up. Yes, very nice. Okay, rock back, kick out 2, tuck and push forward. Very good. So even having that extra piece of like reality of like, what's on the other side? What am I going towards? I don't want to hang out on the ground for very long. That's going to help lift your energy and push it forward and in front of you. So as you drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up, keep your weight moving forward. The next time you do it, drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up, take a step forward. Drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, come back up, and then step forward. There you go, yes. So on the way up from that, you're still using the back leg bent and underneath you in Han Ni almost. Hey Joe, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so from here, the one thing that I don't want to try to be standing up from having my legs almost level like this. I really want to allow one leg to be completely on the ground so that the front leg is pushing forward, knee towards toes as you're standing up to this position, and then take a step forward. So try to slow down and not rush, trying to get that back leg up before you've already made it to standing. Make it all the way to standing first, and then take the next step forward. So as you drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1. Use this back leg bent underneath you to help you stand up, push forward, and then finish the next step. Okay, so rock back, kick out 2, tuck 1, push forward, then step. There you go. So stand up in Han Mi, stay there, and don't rush taking the last step forward. Okay, so once you get up to here, pause for 1 second, make sure that you have all of your balance, then take the next step. Trying not to rush moving from here and then swinging that foot forward, right? Because if this foot is not stable, then I could be knocked over from the top. But if I have my balance here and I'm traveling forward, then I'm going to be able to measure what happens with my center a little bit better than if I try to rush this forward, and then I'd be swaying from the top half. So as you drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, stay in that Han Mi, get your stability, then step forward, right? This is slow, intentional practice so that it'll be there whenever it needs to be fast later. So drop down, kick out 2, tuck 1, come up to standing, land that foot completely, and then take your step forward. Ready, rock back, kick out 2, tuck 1, land that foot, then take the step forward. Really get that whole back foot totally level and flat on the ground before you step forward. Good. So Joe, the one piece of this that we were adding on right before you came in, guys, the rest, you guys can keep going. We were adding in the intention of feeling like something is pulling us, that we're moving forward towards something on the raise, so that we don't end up staying behind or keeping the back bent like this, but really like using all of this ears over shoulders over hips. And as the momentum is driving you forward, you're pushing forward and up.
Lost you. But I'll work on it.
Sorry. All right, sorry.
Been happening all day.
Did it switch to you?
All three of us were up for me.
It froze. Did it switch to you, Robert?
No, it looked like it switched to Chris for me.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, we'll move on from there anyway. So, WeWow taught on Tuesday night. She taught a fantastic class. WeWow Sensei is in Miami, Florida, and she is a powerhouse. And I look forward, if you've never trained with her, I look forward to the day that you get to, because she's absolutely amazing. But one of the points of emphasis that she was really making in this class was hip movement that was exaggerated by using something to where you could see the actual trajectory of where your hip motion was moving. And she was showing it with using, like, this is a dowel rod. This is a very small staff, right? I got this for like $4 at Home Depot. You can use this for practice. You can also use, I mean, you could use a rolled up magazine if you wanted to. But the idea with the whole exercise is if you were standing in Han Ni and you had this right in front of your center, to move that front hip forward, it was pushing one side forward and one side back, so that you could see that by time you changed Han Ni, that your hips were not straight across, but they were actually sideways. So to do it with the little staff like this, if you went forward, it was exaggerating what you were able to see. So in the step forward, you would see it turn, right? In the step forward, you would see it turn. Okay? And so the idea of this is that you're drawing your power from the back hip, and it's a lot more subtle than the gross movements of the arms. But it's the concentration of really being able to move from your center without relying on physical strength from the arms. Because your power is then going to end up being more concentrated in your movement and in your legs and in your connection to the ground and in your Tai Sabaki exercises, right? Prior to changing what you're doing based on how big your partner is. So in the practice that we get to do right now, where we're at home, this is huge practice, because it's keeping you in the study of how to use your skeleton and put your skeleton in the position where it's going to make you have the greatest amount of influence over whatever is going on. So we're going to do this. If there's, if you guys want to grab something to hold in your hands, it doesn't matter if it's like a paper towel holder, or if you have a Joe, or even a broom, something like that, or yeah, there you go. So the idea with this movement, we're going to do this from, first off, we're just going to do this from a pivot, right? So right here, if your front hand from right here, turn your hand to where your thumb is facing towards your belly button and grab it like this. So where the end of your hand is going to be facing towards the outside, right? Now from here, if you pivot your feet, the other side is going to be forward, right? Other side is going to be forward. Other side is going to be forward. And so it's going to force my elbow out into this round shape, right? So if you pivot your feet, the elbow is going to move away from my body. So every time I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep the back hand glued to the back hip and the front hand pops forward. Or if I turn my hips, now the back hand is against my hip and the front hand is forward, right? Right, so as you pivot, you have eyes, front knee, and front foot, all facing the same direction. Pivot, 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 right? So this time, we're gonna use the back hand. So as you move, I'm sorry, you're gonna use, that's right, the next one that I'm gonna give you, the back hand is holding on to it completely, and this is gonna look like ski. Ski is this punch forward with the hand up, same position. So whatever you're holding on to, the pinky side edge is towards the back of your hip, right? So you're going to step forward in Han knee and then really exaggerate to where you become one hip in front of the other. That ends up happening whenever the power comes from the back hip in the extension here. Back hip in the extension. So ski, the movement happens when you step forward with the back leg and then push even further, right? So you're gonna step forward and then extend even further. Do it as a two-step process. So as you step forward in Han knee, then extend it and exaggerate it even further. Step forward and then push and exaggerate even further. Now, for the alignment for this, I want you to be mindful about keeping the center of your knee in line with the center of your toes so that whenever you extend, you don't buckle that leg sideways, right? When you push forward, instead of shifting and your leg going sideways, lean into that front leg even more and let the back hip get further behind you. So the line of your power is going to be from your back foot, back hip, to front foot, all the way through your hand. Right? So as you step forward, extend, and then line your hips up. And see, you just saw my hip is really tight today, so it's kind of hard to move that, but it's good practice. Keeping that leg to the outside. Okay? As you step forward, extend and exaggerate even more. Good. Check your front knee. I got to do it too. Okay. So the next movement would be if we were doing this with, like a step forward. Let's see, two hands on this completely. If you're doing this as a step forward, cut up, pivot, slide back, cut down, and then pivot, right? When you pivot, that last pivot, you're bringing that hip forward, drop it down. Okay, so you've done this before. You've all done this before. Chris, you too. We do step forward, cut up, pivot, slide back, cut down, one more pivot, back knee down, front knee down, pin. But the way that we're going to do it right now is try to smooth out those movements a little bit more. And I want you to pay attention to that last pivot where you put that hip down, it's all coming from your back hip to get that down and then pin. So as you step forward to come up, you're pushing from that back hip to bring the leg forward. To get this leg behind you, you're dragging that back hip back, cut down, pivot, and down. So in essence, you're going to try to take the pauses out of each individual movement and just breathe through it a little bit easier, okay? So step forward, cut up is one motion, but then as you pivot, slide back, cut down, that's all one motion. So step forward, cut up, pivot, slide down, right? So 1, 2, 3, down. You got it. One more pivot and down. You got it, Chris. Okay. So let your arms move. This is another one, right? So before we do all of the steps forward, stand in on me, and as the back arm raises, see if you can shift your hip from the back like this, right? If you can see your belt moving from side to side, you know, the fact that I don't have a Hakama on right now, you can see the belt moving, right? If I had the Hakama on, it would be a lot harder to see what's going on. But that's the beauty of creativity at home. So when you move forward with that back hip, raise your arm up and drop it down. Raise your arm up, drop it down. Raise your arm up, drop it down. Okay. Push up, drop down. Yes. Up, drop down. Switch sides. Up, drop down. So you're trying to push that hip forward to be the instigation to raise that arm and cut it up and down. Up, drop down. Up, drop down. Up, drop down. And this is definitely, if this resonates with you, Harvey Koenigsberg Sensei is really, really big on this movement. Very, very subtle hip movements like that. It's going to drive the direction of the rest of the body, right? So as you're moving forward, keeping in mind that kind of hip movement like this, as you step forward, make that be the reason your arms cut up. Pivot, sliding back and cutting down is dragging that power down from the sky as you drop this hip back. So legs and arms cut and drop back at the same time. So as you push forward and cut up with the step, up, pivot, drag the hand, drag the foot back, but allow the arms to let gravity take your arms down. Right? So pushing up and allowing the drop. There you go. Okay, push up, step, pivot, drop. Yes. Okay, so now you're adding a little bit more flow and extension, and you're letting more of the energy and the magic move through, because you're not trying to just necessarily like control rigid movements with the arm, but you're allowing it to be precipitating the motion because you're drawing up from the ground through your hips and then through the arms and then back down to the ground. Through the arms, pivot, back down to the ground. Yes. Good. So let me ask you a question. Does anybody have any experience with like blacksmithing? Has anybody ever lifted a hammer and dropped it down? No? Okay. So when you are cutting with the sword, when you raise up, that's going to be lifting from the lower body muscles, right? You're lifting up, you're allowing your shoulder blades to drip down your back to change the position of where the sword is, right? But you want gravity to be what cuts the sword down, more so than it being your muscles forcing it down like this, right? So you're using the shape of your body. You're making a connection through the center of your hand into the sword so that it's moving because you are shifting your weight up, right? Up through the sword with your hips. And then you're allowing your motion to be gravity, allowing the arms to fall. And you're only staying connected with the sword because of the connection points on your hands, right? It's like magnetically connected to you. So as you lift up, this is going to be a shifting your hips up to be able to slide forward, cut down. And it's not mechanical. It's not from the front of the shoulders. And I tell you that because I couldn't figure that out for years and years and years, and using a boken was always very much a tedious activity because it would make my muscles get really, really tired, and there would be like a lot of tension in here because I was trying to move the whole boken with my arms, which was the opposite of what I needed to do. So I want you to think about this spot where you're driving all of your movement from your center and it's moving through your bones to extend out in the center place of your hand, or take katana, right? This whole area across your hand. So as you slide forward, shift your weight forward and up, you're dragging it up from the ground through your center to lift that up. Then as you slide forward, I want you to release your shoulders. Release your shoulders and let your hands drop, keeping your back straight, right? So inhale up from the ground to lift up, slide forward, cut down. Good. Inhale, raise up, slide forward, drop down. Okay? And that hug your belly to your spine cue is going to keep you from bowing your back out like this. Hug your belly in so that you can bend your knees and be having more control, more concentration, more emphasis on your entire center. So this really is squeezing your belly in towards your spine. So lift it up so that the bottom part of you, between the bottom of your ribs and the ground, is going to be the heaviest part. Slide forward, cut down. Okay, switch on me if you haven't. Right. Inhale, raise arms up. And check your back. Even right here, hug your belly to your spine and sit into it further. Sit into it further and bend your knees. Bend your knees down, bend your knees down. Good. Shift your shoulders back on top of your hips without letting your hips go back like this. So you're aiming for ear over shoulder over hip still. Slide forward, cut down. Good. So as you shift your hips, see if you can keep your heels completely on the ground and your knees bent. Okay. So without taking a step, you're gonna, if your left foot is in front, keep your left foot in front. You're gonna be moving forward without changing which foot is in front. Front foot followed by back foot. Inhale, raise arms up. Even bend your knees to really emphasize your position. Bend your knees, both of them. Taking knee towards toes, slide forward, cut down. Good, slide back. Inhale, raise arms up. Push your lower back like you're sitting into a chair. Slide forward, cut down. Good, slide back. 8, inhale, raise arms up. Slide forward, cut down. Good, all right, shake it all out. Okay, anytime that you're using a ton of concentrated energy on a new thing, sometimes you can build up a lot of residual tension. So I want you to shake it out like you're like cleaning a conductor out, right? So you are a conduit creating all of this energy between what you're doing physically inside your body and the ground. So this is clearing the channels, clear it out. Okay? All right, so we're gonna drop down and do a little bit more stretching and moving because we haven't done our myokemi drill yet. But this one I think is more than valuable to be practicing all the time. All right, so from here, drop that foot underneath you with your toes curled under. And this leg is not going to be too shallow, not going to be too far away. Keep your knee bent. Good. Your practice here is arms out to the side, starting with thumbs up. As you lower down, turn thumbs down. Ready? Lower down, raise up. Lower down, raise up. Lower down, raise up. Lower down. Drop that hand behind the foot, not next to it, but really behind the foot. Use it to help you lift your hip up. Big stretch back, look back. Chris, take your foot out the extended leg. Give yourself like 3 more inches out in front. There you go. Now turn your shoulder out and look back. Okay, drop your hip back down. Good, drop your hip back down. From here, let the top arm swing past your face, followed by the bottom arm, reaching it all the way out towards the foot. Drop shoulder down, lift your hips back up. Good. Okay. Good. You're all right. See, your body knows how to front roll now, so. All right, so from here, drag the bottom arm all the way back behind the foot first. Lift your hips up, big stretch back. Good, drop your hip back down to your ankle. Top arm swings past the face first, followed by the bottom arm. Your challenge here is to reach out through arms and keep that extended leg on the ground. Chris, bring your front shoulder closer to your hip, closer to that front knee. There you go. So Joe and Robert, just keep going back and forth through the forward and the backwards. Okay, ready, Chris? As soon as when this shoulder comes forward, I'm aiming to keep knee, shoulder, and ear in one line. So I am really trying to keep everything as kind of really close together right here. If I get too close to this front, my extended leg, I'm gonna get separated and flatten out, right? And that's gonna be a really hard land on your shoulder. So bring your shoulder right down next to the knee that's down. There you go, very good. Now, push down in the extended leg, push down in that extended foot, push it down to the ground. And now lower your hip back down to your ankle, swing the bottom arm all the way back behind the foot first. You got it, you got it, you got it, okay? Once you're here, lower the hip down, reach that arm all the way behind the foot, and then come back up to the big stretch. And then lower the hip back down, reach that bottom arm first, then lift up, and then drop the hip back down. Yes. Good job. Good job. Okay, switch sides if you haven't yet. Okay. Good job. Big stretch back, reach back. Lower the hip back down first. Top arm swings past the face. Bottom arm follows. So swing the top arm past the face first. Good. So the same way it swings up, same way it swings down. Yes, you got it. You got it. All right. If you are ready to go into the roll, you may. Having the control to not take the roll it takes a while, right? Because a lot of this has to do with where you're keeping the concentration of your power, where you're keeping the weight. So everybody stop for a second. What we were already doing in class with all of this movement of where your hips were going like this, right? This drill is a really good example of that, because if too much of the weight ends up tipping into the shoulders, then boom, that's a front roll. That's the whole purpose of it, right? If I've already shifted all of my weight from this section to my top half needs to be the part that's down, or else I'm gonna just fall forward on my face, right? So if I'm getting super round, my point of contact with the most weight now is my shoulder, because my hips are on top of it, right? So you're switching which part of you has the control and the most concentration of your power. So the more that you can have control over being able to shift it, right now I'm trying to glue my back heel to the ground, and I'm gluing this foot to the ground because I'm not quite going over my shoulder yet. So I really want to keep the control of these extended the legs, anything that's touching the ground. And now when my shoulder goes down, I'm going to share one corner down, but I'm trying to keep that connection to the ground so that I can bring my hips back down and then switch positions. If my intention is to go over my shoulder, I'm going to let this leg get light. But it has to be an on purpose, very intentional decision. So if my intention is to travel, by the time my shoulder's down, this leg is light. So it's just to know the difference between doing both of them on purpose. They both serve different purpose, right? So once you get familiar with that shape of moving the shoulder down, once you start getting light enough in that leg, lift your hip all the way up and allow the drop in to happen. That way we were protecting the shoulders from taking too much weight at one time, because you're going to tip the shoulders underneath and let the hips go over top, right? So if you want to go over your shoulder, you can do that. Take a couple minutes and do that. But we're going to do it from here. Keep your arms super round. We're going to skip the step of reaching back like this. Keep your arms super round. And as you turn, keep your head in the middle of your hands here. Slide everything towards the extended leg. Keep your arms round and go all the way over. Right. This time, you're not going to separate your hands at all, and you're not going to hang out on the shoulder. Just go all the way in. Okay. There you go. You don't have to hang out on your shoulder if your intention is to go all the way over. If your intention is to come back up to your hips, then keep your foot all the way plugged into the ground. Good. All right, so a couple other things about this. This would typically be more of a stacked position as we were earlier in Hanmi, and I would be moving my shoulder to the inside of the front leg. My back leg would be straight behind me, right? So with this drill, all I'm doing is bringing everything closer to the ground, putting this leg down. This is still my front leg. My back leg becomes this extended, very exaggerated Hanmi. So I want my heels to be relatively in the same line because my shoulder is going to go in this central area here. If this leg sneaks forward, this would be the other Hanmi. Does that make sense? Or my legs would be too narrow and I would no longer be in Hanmi because I would be closed off like this. So front leg and back leg. Front leg becomes the one that's down. Back leg becomes exaggerated to help me find my shape. Shoulder is going to go right down in the center. And then the hip comes up. I'm just getting really, really big here and taking up tons and tons of space. Good. All right, let's revisit that another time. Okay, so from here, please stand up. All right, so the first one that we're going to do, we're going to show you body positions for different types of ukemi. And the very first one is going to be place your palm out in front of you like this. Good, flip your hand towards your face. From here, you're going to take your thumb to the back of the ring finger and then turn the pinky side edge in towards your ribs. There you go. Elbows are going to move out to the side and this lowers down right in front of your sternum. Okay, this is Kodagaishi, Kodagaishi. Okay. From here, if I was to be thrown in this position, if my hand stays in front of my ribs and this starts to get pushed off of my center line, I have to take my front knee with it so that I'm staying in this shape. So by time I get my shoulder pushed down, this front leg is out of the way and I haven't left it behind, right? So the idea with this is as you are moving, as your shoulders are being pushed, you're stepping offline, offline and bending that knee, offline and bending that knee, offline and bending that knee. Your vision is going to end up staying towards looking behind you. So you're tucking your head down as you do this, right? So by the time you get all the way to here, you've got knee, shoulder, and ear all in one line, just like we were doing on the last one. So as it gets pushed offline, front leg moves offline too. Okay, switch sides if you haven't. So when you switch sides, you also switch hands, okay?
What?
When you switch sides, you switch hands. Yes. So I want everybody, don't go as fast as I was doing. We're gonna do this really, really slow and really, really intentional. So from here, right? If my feet are in the same direction, parallel right now, you're going to turn the front knee from the hip out in the same direction that the Kodagaishi is being pushed. Try to keep it right in front of your chest. So as you are standing, right, parallel feet, turn that leg out. And then as you bend your knee, bend your knee, bend your knee, see if you can lower your shoulder to touch the inside of your front knee and then look behind you. Okay, just do it really slowly. So long-term practice to protect this leg is to not let it bend sideways like this, right? But I'm asking you to just not go past your edge for right now. So stop wherever you can keep this leg shooting forward and just bend into that position from here. If that means that you're not lowering down like that, it's fine. There's no judgment about that. I just want you to make this all in one line where you've got the position, right? The position is there. And then you can stop and do the other side. So whichever hand is getting pushed, whichever hand is in the kotegaeshi is the leg that moves out, 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 out. Go to the other side, Chris. There you go. Yes. 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 There you go. Shake your hands out, shake your hands out, shake your hands out. Okay, little bit goes a long way, little bit goes a long way. The next one is Sankyo, okay? Elbow up, hand is down. You're gonna shake your own hand here. The movement is to push this back and behind underneath your armpit, right? So you can see my wrist is turning, the pinky side edge is getting turned in towards my armpit. But if your arm is getting moved like that, your leg, same side leg has to move as well. Shift, shift, follow it, follow it. Keep it right in front of your face. Follow it, follow it. Okay. Right? Wherever my elbow is being turned, I'm also moving my body to keep it in front of me. So the torque on the wrist with this is that you are moving the thumb. It starts out facing towards you and it ends up going past your armpit to the outside. And when I mean torque, I mean torque, okay? So the idea with this is you do not want to leave your arm in captivity of somebody else's hands and leave your body behind. All right, so the practice of doing this where the rest of your body is moving because your arm is being moved is a life-saving measure so that your arms stay connected to you. So as your arm starts to twist, as soon as you feel that torque, you step that same side leg. And yes, Chris, that was it. That was totally it. Yes. We're trying to keep the joints all together and still connected long term, right? So offline and back, offline and follow it, offline and follow it. So the stretch for this, even if you're just moving the arm, you're rotating your shoulder blade over your rib cage. Okay, so slowly, slowly from here, hand is out, thumb to the side. Okay, you're gonna turn this edge right here. You're pushing that back to make the thumb peel out forward. So grab the whole thing. There you go. And then push the pinky side edge in towards your midline. Good. Now, to make sure that you have it, you can actually go out and do this too. Push the back of your wrist out so your thumb is down. That's going to make you feel it as well, right? And then down on the other side. There you go. Now, if you were from here, that same sort of push forward, grab that hand and scoop it up into your armpit, right? Keeping that torque in towards your armpit without letting it bend like this. Keep it all the way turned in, right? So again, a little bit goes a long way. Little bit goes a long way, right? So massage it out. If your wrists are starting to feel it. Okay. Other side. So this kind of just grabbing, you're moving the skin over top of the muscle. Let's get some extra blood flow in there. Okay. Good. All right. So the next one would be, we move on to another elbow up position, but this time you're not going to grab your own hand. This would be as if somebody else is grabbing you, two hands like this on either side of your elbow and moving the elbow over and down, right? So this is Ikkyo 1 and 2, where the elbow goes up in the air, hands are down, and you have to, number 1, be able to pivot and then allow this to happen. So as you're shifting, right? Elbow up in the air, pivot your feet first, lower down. This arm ends up getting rolled forward and over, rolled forward and over. The most important part of this, if it happens at speed, we have to train this back leg not to come flying forward and knee yourself in the nose. So being able to take the Ikkyo here, train your legs to only pivot so that you protect yourself from bringing that leg up to, it's gonna really, it's been bad. I've seen some loose teeth from this, right? So elbow goes up, the back leg and arm are both going to be bent and extended, and then you can lower that knee down. Elbow goes all the way down. Okay. Let me give you a floor example of what the bottom side of this looks like, right? So from here, if the Ikkyo is happening here, right? I'm attacking going this way. They pick up the Ikkyo. It makes me pivot my feet this way. Now, by time I'm getting all the way down to the ground, one knee goes down first. For this exercise, sometimes you don't have that luxury in time. The shoulder is going to be rotated forward, down, and just walk the other foot out.
Probably can't see me.
Good, that is really good. So now that you know which one that we're doing from standing, I'm just going to show you just an exercise drill for the landing position, right? And we're going to do this by having one leg down, right? You're going to have one leg down, right? We were all here a second ago, the Ikkyo's with the top arm. Now from here, this is going to be a twisting of the torso, and you're going to shift the shoulder forward, right? You shift the shoulder forward. So you have one knee down, the Ikkyo is happening here. You shift that shoulder to the ground and then slide the leg out. So other side, back leg is out, very, very lightly on the ground, sometimes even suspended off the ground, but you're going to turn the shoulder down and you look away from it. Turn the shoulder down and look away from it. Then come back up, turn the shoulder down and look away from it. Place the extended leg down, slide the other one out. Okay, switch sides. You got one knee down, one knee out. Turn the shoulder down first, slide the hips and leg out. Other side. You're looking away from the extended arm, shoulder down, slide that leg out. So let the shoulder get all the way to the ground first. Let the shoulder get all the way to the ground before this leg slides out, right? I'm trying to look for the best angle. What's the best angle? I don't know. Maybe this one, okay? Shoulder goes all the way down first, and then slide that leg out. Yes. Right? So then you still have 3 points of stability through the entire thing. Shoulder goes down first. And then you can slowly slide the legs all the way out afterwards. Get the shoulder all the way down first. Slide that back leg out. Yes. Okay. Shoulder down first. Slide that back leg out. Good. Good, good, good. So get this, this is a rotation in the trunk. This is a rotation in the trunk to get that shoulder down first and then slide the back leg up. Okay, from here, I cannot figure out the right angle for this, right? From here, shoulder all the way down first, then slide both legs out. So it's the shoulder that has the ikkyo that is getting to the ground first, right? This one is just your support. So this is really shoulder with the ikkyo is down first. Then everything else moves. And then your tapping hand is the one that is your support at first, right? So if this is my ikkyo hand, this is my support hand, slide that one down. And then the support hand becomes the tap. Right, so shoulder down, slide down, support hand becomes the tap. All right, good. Go ahead and come up to Seiza. Okay. I want you to take your arm, one extended out with the thumb up, place your hand on the shoulder and wipe down your arm. Wipe out your hand, all sides. Switch. Good. From here, breathing into all sides of your belt. Get super heavy in your seat. Big inhale, push your belly out in all directions. Release your shoulders and your clavicles. Bring all of that breath all the way through the inside of your ribs without raising your shoulders. Exhale, release it all down. Inhale up from the bottom. Bring it up through the floating ribs. Let it expand all the way underneath the clavicle, into your shoulder blades, into the floating ribs without moving your arms. Exhale, let everything out. Inhale, fill up your belly. Press every side of your low back against your belt. Bring all of that up. Exhale everything. Shake out your shoulders. That type of abdominal breathing, and then using it to help you open up all the connective tissue on the inside of the ribs can help you open up and soften everything that's around the bones, right? Taking some time to get rid of the excess energy that you've built up can help you not take it with you into the next few hours, into your shoulders, right? Excuse me, I need to get a drink of water. Sorry. All right. I'm just gonna hold it up. Sorry, I lost my air for a second. All right. All right. All right, I'm gonna go drink a ton of water. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.